Hi, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Edward. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your generosity as he continues so far my journey into the 2012 Ninja Turtles cartoon season 1. This case with episodes 11 and 12, Monsters Attack and It Came from the Depths. But before I go on, if anyone wants to request any type of videos, whether it be a movie review, re-review, random thought streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, random thoughts, reactions, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Now, I'm not going to go to my whole spiel about the 2012 cartoon. I've said that multiple times. I'll just go into the episodes. 2 episodes I did like. So again, it's not that I hate the show from beginning to the end, from the first episode. The first season or 2, I actually did not mind. Again, it's between like season 2 and season 3 where like halfway season 2 to season like, where things kind of, for me, fall apart. But anyway, Monsters Attack. Title pretty much speaks for itself. You have Baxter Stockman, which is a character that you saw back to the day of the Mirage comics. That, weirdly enough, when they did the 80s cartoon, they changed him from black to white, and then changed him back to black again in the 2003 cartoon, among other stuff. But the gist of it is Raphael and Leonardo, especially Raph, they're getting a bit too cocky fighting, and they start fighting each other. Splinter calms them down. Then he says, you guys should learn how to work together. So they're going to train against Mike and Don. Raph and Leo are like, what? That's no big deal. It's a little unfair. And Mike and Don, of course, take offense to that. And he's like, what does that mean? Well, we're the A team and you're the B team. Well, you're just good at fighting. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey! So yeah, at times they make Mikey a bit too dumb at times. So I guess it just depends. It is a cartoon, I get it, but sometimes it's wondering as if they try to make him a bit too dumb at times. And it's a little bit, I mean, Raph and Leo being a dick. I will say with Leonardo in this show, that's one of the positives I will give, is the way Jason Biggs voices Leonardo. He does give him a little bit more of a personality, a little bit more where he's not just a one note, follow what my sensei would do, follow what my sensei would say, honor the Bushido code. I have nothing against that because I love him in the 2003 cartoon. But this is a way of still making him still be a kid, but not to obnoxious level like you would see in other iterations of these characters later on. Now, Raph and Leo, of course, beat Mike and Don, where you see like Leo beat up Don. Well, actually, Leo beat up Mike and Raph beat up Don. And then Raph beat up Mike and Leo beat up Don, which seems a bit brutal. I do like the way it was done with all like the split screens, where you see like 2 from Leo, 2 from Raph as they hit one brother, and 2 from Leo, 2 from Raph when they're hitting the opposite brother. Now, of course, there's going to be a reason for all this has happened. By the end, they realize, no, we're all needed, we're all important, we're all together in this. One is not better than the other. But, you know, that's the thing with cartoons like this, is that it's very hard for writers to keep up that type of continuity with characters. Where so many times it seems like the characters have to learn the same lesson a dozen times. whether because they don't feel like, hey, it's a cartoon, so who's going to notice, or what does it matter? But actually, a lot of people, it does matter. People appreciate that stuff. People will definitely appreciate you more when you concentrate on those type of things. But anyway, Raph and Leo, of course, win. And you come to find out that April's phone has been taken. And they don't go after it. And Splinter says, is this really a big deal? Like, do you really want to stir up a hornet's nest just for a phone? And of course, they didn't copy. It's just the purple dragons, which I'm sitting there going, wasn't there already an episode, like 2 or so episodes ago, where they didn't copy? It was like before they faced the Shredder. Like, well, there you go. That was just what the fuck I was just talking about. Like, literally just 2-3 episodes ago, before they faced the Shredder, they were doing cocky, and then when they lost to the Shredder, then they're a bit too scared. Now they're being too cocky again. So they fight the purple dragons. There's some stuff I did find funny, like Raph and Leo keep taking Mike and Don's villains. So Mikey's ready to hit someone and Raph hits him and Mikey's getting angry and that type of face. I thought that was a funny reaction. One thing leads to another, they split up. Mike and Don's supposed to go get the phone. Raph and Leo are going to go see what's going on, what these bousers pop up are stealing stuff and they're going to follow them. The rest of the episode is pretty much while Mike and Don are trying to figure out how to get into the Foot Clan headquarters to get this phone. And Donnie's creating all these scenarios, more and more complicated than the next, which I thought was funny. I thought Rob Paulsen does a pretty good job voicing Donatello. And Mikey, like, he's just so much of a cheerleader for Don, trying to name each of these plans as they get more and more convoluted. A good chunk of this episode is just Raph and Leo beating the shit out of Mousers, which, not a bad time, for the running time. And they're just there's so many Mousers, and they're so relentless, and they're destroying one after the other, and they're taking it on, and they're being badasses, and they come up with their plans. So Leo comes up with one plan, Raph comes up with another plan with a hydrant and a light post, and fries a bunch of them. So it was nice to see that these terrors were not rendered useless or pointless. Nice to see them doing their thing, being a bit of a badass, which I appreciate. I don't mind the running gag that they can't remember Baxter Stockman's name, so they keep saying, like, Dexter Speckman. It's Baxter Stockman. Granted, Baxter Stockman is not really a name. I don't think that's a name that's easy to forget. Like, I actually think it would be funnier if they're doing it on purpose just to piss them off, but it was still kind of a funny gag. I think it is Phil Lamar voicing Baxter Stockman, who he's done a lot of stuff. He's just done a lot of stuff. Samurai Jack, Static Shock, other characters of that nature. So while they're doing that and get more and more tired, they get sprayed by this dust, but it doesn't seem like it affects them, but what it does is it makes the Mousers track them. Mike and Don, they get caught. Pretty much, Raph and Leo, they find where their brother's at. They crash through the windows. How'd you lose my Mousers? Who says we did? And the Mousers come in and they wreck everything. Donnie figures out what's going on, how is it that they keep following and how to stop it. You can't stop it, it's got to wear off, but give someone with a bigger spray and they'll go after them. So, Baxter's ready to spray the other turtles. Raph gets the nice heroic moment, which I enjoy. Throws the shuriken, hits the canister, sprays him and the dog pound, voiced by Clancy Brown. Always nice to have Clancy Brown in there. I can't want to call him Razor, but that's from Secret of the Ooze. But Dog Pound. And they run away, and Raph pretty much says, "You guys are the A- team." I did like the nice moment where he nuddies playfully Mighty, and Mighty's laughing about it, and those nice little brotherly moments I appreciate because they are brothers at the end of the day. Any moment that further signifies them as a family, as long as it's not them singing fucking bacon, egg, and cheese, like that stupid fucking Mutant Mayhem movie, which no, I did not see the TV show cartoon they did. I will always see that as a request. But yes, I just say that this season of Ninja Turtles is way better than Mutant Mayhem and way better than the Michael Bay produced stuff. I can say that. I can be fair on that. A few other things. One, I mean, I liked, it was an action-packed episode. I liked that Raph and Leo, especially Raph, my favorite character. Again, I'm not big on Sean Astin and his interpretation of Raph, but it's still a Raphael, so it's nice to see a Raphael succeed and stuff and not be a loser or anything. But he gets some nice moments. Like I said, there's a couple funny moments that I mentioned throughout the talking about it. I'm a bit surprised they didn't go. It seemed like with the way it's set up at the beginning, the typical would be Raph and Leo are trapped or caught, need help, and then Mighty and Don come in, they help and save their brothers, and look, the B team saved the A team. I am surprised they did not go in that direction, and instead Mighty and Don were captured. That I was a bit surprised by. I didn't expect it to go that way, but I kind of appreciate it. But the family work together, they fight the bad guys, as well as the Mousers, they work as a team, and it goes from there. Also, the whole thing with Mousers is always an interesting creature, invention, ever since seeing it at the comics back in the day. And as I watch this, I'm sitting there going, I wonder if these things could work in a movie. Because in a comic book, in a cartoon, I think audiences, they're willing to suspend their disbelief more. But when it's live action, I think more people would be like, would anyone really make these things? Would they really be that sensible of an invention? Would it really be that capable of doing it? Would it really be... Would it be more of a detriment to have these things do this? Would it be a lot more cumbersome or less so? Or there'd be a lot more questions, it would seem. Like, is this really the best way? I wonder if people would think it would just be too silly or too goofy, and if that's why maybe you've never seen this in a live action form. Because you did have a Buster Stockman in that 2016 movie. But again, I do wonder if this would just be deemed too out there. Which very well may be. So I guess if you ever did, it's either go with the ludicrous or not. And that'd be up to the writer, director, whoever, if they ever do that one day. It'd be up to them. But I thought that was a fun episode. The second one, It Came from the Depths. I like this one as well. This is the introduction of Leatherhead, which my first experience with that character was in the cartoon in the 80s, where he was the Southern Cajun. I think most people, when they think of Leatherhead, they think of him. Very Southern accent, beating him up in Turtles in Time video game. But in the comics, in the 2003 cartoon, and here he's more of an ally. And I didn't mind the little backstory they had where you see something fighting, escaping, tearing apart the train. Try to be a little bit suspenseful. And when it cuts to the turtles, There's a show that they reference throughout this whole show, but a show within the show called Space Heroes, which is easily a reference to Star Trek. I mean, Leo is a big fan of the show, and the episode they're watching is pretty much Tribbles. That's what it is, the trouble with Tribbles. They see something on the news about a violent mutant. I did kind of chuckle that Don and Leo immediately looked at Raph and he goes, "What? I didn't do anything." I thought that was kind of funny. And then they show clear footage of this mutant. Was a crocodile, alligator? I always get the two confused. I know alligator, well, I guess it depends. Yeah, I always get confused. But either way, they see this thing. I bring that up because as they go to search, they find these footprints. And Leonardo literally says, "What the heck made these footprints?" And I'm sitting there going, maybe the fucking gator, the fucking thing you saw the footage of, Leo. Maybe it was that. We just saw footage about this giant fucking gator mutant. What made these big ass footprints? Godzilla. What do you think, Leo? That was a very dumb line, dumb moment from Leo. That's definitely a big brain fart. So they see Leatherhead fighting these train. They don't want to get involved. They see Leatherhead's getting tasered. The turtles help fight the crane. And I thought this was a nice showcase from Michelangelo. It shows that he's a trustworthy guy. He's a very open-hearted guy. He's a guy very innocent, more of a pure soul type of guy. That first he goes, well, I can't wait around for you cowards. He's like, well, why aren't we helping him? Well, we don't know who he is. Well, I'm not going to wait for you cowards. Very rare to have Mighty taught like that, but that's nice. It shows that he's not just an idiot. He's not just a moron, not just a dumbass. He's got a good heart on him, which I always view Mighty as, that type of character. That he's a guy with a big heart. They help Leatherhead. Mighty befriends him. I like the bit where he's trying to take him home, and the other's like, "No, we're not. What are you doing?" And so you have this little... The camera doesn't move, but Mighty goes in different positions trying to push Leatherhead, who's pretty big and giant. Gives his puppy dog eyes to the turtles, and they finally do help out. Bring him back to the lair. But I did like this aspect where you could tell Leatherhead definitely has some PTSD. He definitely has some trigger. If you say the train, he just goes insane and crazy and loses it. And when he snaps out of it, he can't remember what he did. He can't remember what happened. I think that was the case in the 2003 cartoon as well. Only in that one, he was friends with the Utroms. The Utroms is pretty much if the train were good guys, and the Utroms were in the original comic book and the 2003 cartoon. The android bodies with the alien brain-looking things in the stomachs, then they were the good guys. But I think you had a little bit of that kind of to lose your head, so to speak. So I don't mind that being incorporated into the character. There's some cute moments like Mighty getting his food and sitting down and feeding Leatherhead. There's this wide shot where this hulking figure is looking down at Mighty, and Mighty's just back and forth with the spoon feeding him. I thought that was cute. And then showcase Mighty's innocence and his ability to trust and take a chance on people. Meanwhile, the other three are looking into what Leatherhead, why these bad guys want Leatherhead, and it's because he's got this power cell. They go through these traps. there's a fun visual gag where this trap almost cuts Raphael's head off, but he put his head in his shell. So when Don and Leo look, they're horrified. They go, think he got decapitated, but then Raph pops his head back up, says a word. You see kind of like still kind of shocked reactions of Leo and Don. Like that, I thought was a funny moment. I did like the line Mighty has where you think you're a monster because everyone treats you that way. Thought that was a nice moment from Mighty. I did like the running dad that everything keeps wanting to attack Don's face. So what, like 2 times the other head, when he snaps, he grabs Donnie's face. There was something else that grabbed Donnie's face. I think one of the train grabbed his face as well. I can't remember if it was this or another episode where he's like, what is the problem with my face? They get the power cell back. Leatherhead freaks out, runs off. Mikey follows him. Very brave of him to do. And then Mikey's like, well, why do you do that? Why do you tap my brothers? Leatherhead tells about, what he's gone through. I did like the brothers coming in and Raphael being protective, saying, get away from Mikey, you're going to turn to a suitcase. Thought that was a fun line, badass line from Raph. The train get there and then you get an action scene within the vehicle where, like the subway car, where the train are trying to come in and they're trying to saw their way in and the turtles will find them off. Pretty much Leatherhead tells them to get out. They use that device and it jettisons the subway car like ludicrous speed. Remember Spaceballs? And kind of a funny visual gag that they're going so fast it gets psychedelic, and you even see like an eyeball as if it was like, I don't know, it was like 2001 A Space Odyssey or something. Like I kind of thought that was a fun visual gag. And even at the very end where Leatherhead's been left behind, but then the train's like, we gotta tell our bosses, and then Leatherhead's like, no, you're not gonna tell anything. That he says something along the lines of, no one's ever going to hear from you again, or you're not going to say anything to anybody again. I guess getting the idea that he killed them, or munched them, or ate them, or something. At least that's what it seemed like to me. Because if you're never going to tell anyone again, more likely he killed them. Just saying. Which I'm fine with. But that seems to be an interpretation. Maybe I'm interpreting wrong, but yeah, I mean, it was a good showcase from Mighty. It shows a little bit to his character. Nice introduction to Leatherhead. Some decent bits of action, some decent bits of humor. Like I said, both of these I think are fairly strong episodes. Both of them I liked. Both of them I don't have a whole lot to really complain or whine about. I liked both of them. So there you go. I mean, there you go. So with that said, thanks once again to Edward for generosity. I do apologize for the lateness of these videos. I know they get out later and later. I'm trying the best I can, but thank you for your patience, to you and everyone else. Take care everyone, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.